now listening to the Sportz Nutz.
What is going on, my goodness. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Sportz Nutz. Yes, we are at episode 111. We are coming live today on a Wednesday. Yes, we are here this Wednesday. We have a really good guest lined up, and while we are still having a guest on, we do have a show to run. We are excited. So tonight we might be joined by Hank. We were not going to be joined by Matt. He has some things to take care of. That's okay. No worries. We're still glad to have you guys up on and aboard. Shane, man, how was your day today, man?
Oh man, it was good, man. Just living up here in the mountains, man. I think this is the first time in about 7 to 8 days that we haven't had at least a little bit of rain. But it got a little warm. But that of course that was me hacking the golf ball out on the range earlier. But you know, I can't complain. I mean, it was really only 80. So
Hey, here's your comment by John. We still got to slurp that bacon grease. Oh Lord, here we go. No, but like, you know, I understand what you're saying though. It's hotter than all get out outside. You're right. It's been every day raining here, but we took the girls outside and they got to play on the splash pad. They had a lot of fun. Just anytime you see your kids, laughing and giggling, it's just something amazing about it. I have so much fun.
Oh yeah, well, we say hot. Mom and Dad are on vacation there in Pensacola right now.
Yeah,
and he told me the low was 78 yesterday, and I said,
wow.
well, that's funny because the high here was 79. I said, and man, waking up to 57 in the morning, that's great too. He's like,
Yeah.
Oh, hush up, son.
Don't you worry. Tomorrow the weather changes, guys. We have our guest today. His name is Calvin Alexander. He is. He's a real big like insider for Oklahoma all over, literally Oklahoma everything. And by the way, I have family located in Oklahoma. Shout out to Uncle Jay and Aunt Gloria and all those. I know they do tune in, so shout out to them. But then also, guys, we want to talk about some other like exciting things that are going on. Albuquerque, New Mexico is getting a professional hockey team. Yes, we will talk a little bit about that. We even have the general manager. He's going to be coming on the 27th of June. But we're going to talk a little bit about Albuquerque, New Mexico, and also Greensboro, North Carolina, which is literally a stone's throw away from Shane. They are set to start
a little more than a stone's throw.
they're set to start their inaugural season this fall. They are the ECHL affiliate of the the Carolina Hurricane. We'll talk a little bit about that one. And then I want to know from you, Shane, I want to know from everybody watching, what is the loudest arena/stadium in all basketball and football, wherever? This is professional and not college, because we know college is a whole nother environment. The reason why I mention this, obviously, because of our guest tonight. He can actually elaborate how loud it can literally be at the I think they call it the Thunderdome. We'll have Calvin tell us more about that as well in a minute. And then, guys, I want to know what your favorite moment as a kid during the summertime was. Mine was doing stuff with my dad. Well, it's more specifically, he would take me to like certain of like to the ballpark or whatever. But no, I will talk more about who my all-time favorite time doing things with is my sister. And then also Charlotte, North Carolina, they are getting a summer collegiate baseball team. We'll talk about what the team name is. It's actually pretty cool. And what is to behold on that one. And then obviously we're excited to talk about Nick Chubb and where he is now officially a part of again. Is he going to be full of rust or what? We're going to talk about that. Just a whole lot more. Can't wait to get going. Before we go, but let's go ahead and bring our guest on. Calvin, what's going on, brother? How you doing, man?
Doing great. No, thanks so much for having me on tonight, Brandon.
Oh man, thanks for coming on. We really do appreciate that. I mean, obviously, I know we're knocking on the door. Game 3 is just so close, but I want to get right into it. Obviously, we saw the numbers for Game 1, and they were not good, meaning like the viewing wise. Now, I will say this is actually a really fun game. Game 1 in general. However, the viewership was the lowest numbers since the 80s for NBA Finals, it was in the ballpark range of 8.9 million. Now I want to ask, what is your thoughts though on this? Obviously, we saw a better result game two with I think it was 10.4 million views, which is still pretty low. But what does this say? Could we be in line to see a better viewership for the rest of the finals, or what?
I think we could do a little bit better viewership here going forward. I think it's just tough though. The NBA media doesn't want to hype up its own product. That's the weirdest thing to me. Why we have such a lower viewership, lower, kind of intrigue into this game and really into the series. Everyone says, "Oh, it'll end in 4." Well, it's going to go 5 at least. And if you're a Thunder fan, I don't think you're too comfortable even with a 19-point lead with 5 minutes left because hey, we had a 15-point lead in game 1, with 8 minutes left. So when can you be comfortable? When is it not a close game? The Pacers can come back from down 20 plus. I mean, it just seems like there should be a lot more hyping up your own product. It's something that I think is just bizarre overall. You don't have NFL guys going on saying, hey, the Chiefs suck and man, they're such a small market. They're a smaller market than Indianapolis is by 10 spots. The Thunder's like 47th. Chiefs are around the 30, 35 range, and Indianapolis is 20, 25 range in market size. So why are we not talking about how, hey, this is actually a bigger market than you would think, and Indianapolis is on the rise, and there used to be this whole deal back basically 30 years ago where United Airlines decided they had to put a headquarters for their redoing of planes and their build site. And they decided between Oklahoma City and Indianapolis, and they chose Indianapolis 30 years ago. Oklahoma City takes that information, says we're going to redo all of our downtown and rebuild, huge major projects around the city to make it that much more improved. And now all of a sudden you have here today 2 cities where you're going, man, Oklahoma City's on the rise and Indianapolis is one of the mainstay bigger cities in America. It's not one of the biggest. I'm not dumb, but it just seems like the NBA could at least advertise their own product a lot more. That's besides the court patches and the jersey patches and all type of stuff here. It just is. You have so many different people going, all right, well, what's the deal? Well, why not put the Thunder on Christmas Day? The Thunder were number 1 overall seed in the NBA last year. So you knew this year they'd probably be pretty good or expected to be pretty darn good and maybe have an MVP contender. You're not going to put them on a Christmas Day game. I get it. We've got San Antonio and Wembanyama. We've got plenty of other guys here that you want to put on, really advertise. But when you're needing, kind of maybe a non-European, I know Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is Canadian, but maybe a North American guy, the whole entire nation can get behind. And if it's not Anthony Edwards, then maybe it could be SGA as the MVP kind of candidate there. It might be a crazy take, it's a total homer take, but it just seems bizarre to me. You got to hype up your own product, be more enticed and excited about all the different storylines going into it and talk up those a lot more than, pivoting and talking about, hey, you know what? The NBA is just such a small market, 2 teams no one's going to want to watch. This is really for basketball heads. Well, why not talk about, I don't know, SGA's family or something and get some more, intrigue into the team or how they've all grown up together, and where 4 years ago we're just absolutely terrible and we're below 500 by 20 games. So there's a lot more you could do from the national media side of it to hype it up a little bit more. And I'm confused as why that's always the case. It's just never hyped up, never a lot of intrigue for 2 teams that are smaller markets, not one of, unless they're LA or New York,
God, we know that so well. I'm an Atlanta Hawks fan, so I get the small market. Shane, you have a question. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, well, as we're talking about the smaller markets and kind of things like that, and how ESPN really has not done a great job as a whole promoting this finals compared to what we saw as far as the viewership and everything. I know Brandon's got all the numbers because he's that kind of guy on that side. But, we saw how TNT handled everything on their side and how they were able to hype up the basketball games, especially, in the finals with it being, kind of their last finals for a while since NBC's taken it over. And only who is it? Kenny and Shaq are going over to NBC with them. But, is it something that, kind of ESPN's left behind Kind of in your opinion, because it is on ABC, and at this point, we have ESPN always covering the College Softball World Series and the College World Series Super Regionals coming up in the same kind of time frame. Is that kind of one of the things that hurts them? And I mean, we do see they have an NBA Live every day for a 1 hour show. But it's like you said, it's kind of lackadaisical the way that they have promoted the world championship. I guess you could look at it for professional sports here in basketball.
Yeah, I mean, it seems bizarre to me. I don't get the strategy behind talking about how this is really for basketball heads. This is really if you want to get into it, not hyping up the product more, because they're also the ones showing the product. I mean, this ESPN is. ESPN and Fox Sports 1 are the only two major networks that have 24-hour day sports topics that they have to find something to talk about. Instead, we're hearing, more about Anthony Richardson and the Colts and having a, injury or some NFL stuff. I get it. NFL definitely draws viewership, but why not hype up your own products, your own, basically media narratives that you want to really go talk about the MVP and, talk more about this Thunder team, or talk about the Pacers. Pacers are incredibly crazy road to get here. It's 1-1. At the end of the day, if the Pacers win tonight, the Thunder are really in a tough spot. All of a sudden they go from, hey, maybe it's 5 games to they're in a real tough spot if some crazy Pacers win happens tonight, which we've all seen happen before. So several times this playoffs. So I'm more skeptical that the Thunder will just kind of win this in 5 than anyone else, maybe. But that's because I used to work for the team and used to be there every night. Saw KD leave us the year after,
just a light bias
type of stuff. It just seems too easy. It just seems like too easy of a deal. Like we're Thunder fans. We don't get it. Like we've had so much incredible success so incredibly quickly for a franchise since 2008, but at the same point, we've gotten really, really close, and it just almost not worked out every single time. So, like, once we get that one, I'm sure I'll be like, hey, you know what? Finally a little bit more comfortable. But PJ Washington decided to go 75% from 3 last year when we played them in a playoff series. Who's to say that Pascal Siakam doesn't have a crazy game 3? I mean, if something could happen, why wouldn't it happen?
Exactly.
Is my thing. We're a great defensive team, but we go spurts without being able to score. Just long time. So
as
why
long
is the media not talking about this?
The key that I see for y'all, and which I kind of said it before, was Chet. As long as Chet gets going, on the offensive side, he's a defensive presence no matter what. But because he's got to deal with Siakam and Turner down there. But if he gets going on the offensive side, I mean, he does have the skills as a big man to extend the floor. Like we see Joker and them do. He's not that much of a pure shooter, but he can put the ball on the floor and get to the hole better than they can. So I think that's y'all's key. And if he plays like he did in Game 2 the rest of the series, I see no problem with that 5 games that you're talking about.
I don't know how old you are. You look very young. Just to point that out there. I'm probably the oldest one out of all 3 of us talking right now. But we know that next month at the NBA owners meetings, they are going to discuss, and they are most likely going to set up a vote to have an expansion team of at least 2 cities. But that number, according to ESPN's Kendrick Perkins, he did say it could grow to 4. Now, what does that mean to you? That most likely you're going to see the Seattle Supersonics come back within the next 5 years, and also that Vegas is very, very well likely going to get a franchise as well.
Well, one, I'm 31. May look a little bit younger, but
My word, yeah, I'm double. I'm 10 years older than you. I'm 41.
So sometimes I get caught for others, but it's because I work at a college every day, so sometimes I'm confused with that. But I'm all for Seattle getting a team. I don't know one Thunder fan who's against Seattle getting a team, and Vegas for that matter. I just knows. I think every single Thunder fan wants Seattle to get a team again and be able to rep their logo and all that type of stuff there that the Thunder basically give back. They said they'd give it back immediately if Seattle gets a team. Just if they don't, then a third party who's not affiliated with the NBA can buy it. So, how weird would it be if all of a sudden it was the Albuquerque Sonics, and you're talking about the NHL later, Albuquerque getting a team. So wouldn't that be bizarre, right? Like the Sonics history stays with the NBA because the Thunder keep owning it. Otherwise, it just would go up in the air as not trademarked. So the Thunder are more than happy to give that back from every single fan, every single story. No one's claiming an NBA championship for the Oklahoma City Thunder at any point because they previously had a championship when it was the Seattle Sonics and they just moved the history. No one's doing the Minnesota Lakers to LA Lakers and claiming 5 more championships here in Oklahoma City. That's beside the point. And also for Vegas to get another team, I think that'd be great too. I think maybe then we're talking about either Oklahoma City or Memphis or New Orleans or Minnesota all moving to the Eastern Conference if it's up to 4 more. I don't know how the conference realignment stuff maybe then would play out because the West only looks like it's getting better and better. You have the number 1 and 2 draft picks this year going to Western Conference teams. And it's always rumored that guys are trying to, get traded basically to the West Coast to go, team up either with, LeBron or go get paid by the Clippers or whatever as well. So maybe that moves Oklahoma City and a couple others to the Eastern Conference. It probably doesn't Oklahoma City, honestly, first here, but I'd be all for it. It'd mean a lot that we could see the Sonics again and all the random Sonics fans who just hate Oklahoma City because they stole the team and have their team back.
Yep, that's right.
Like, I mean, I'm well aware how all of it works. Now, if the city had voted to pay for a brand new stadium, would they still have the team? Probably. And Oklahoma City has voted repeatedly to upgrade the stadium, renew the stadium, and now lately to have a brand new arena coming in, I think 2027, to Oklahoma City. So it's hard for me to be in a spot where I'm really mad at or at least where I understand a team that lost their fans that lost their team. And I'm like, well, you guys didn't vote for it. It's not like the owner just up and moved one night and it's the Baltimore Colts. I mean, it just is that you guys are voting no. And there's enough of you voting no that like, am I mad? The 45% are all mad. I'm like, well, then be mad at the 55% of y'all that don't care that much. That would be what I would say. Not the team that, not the fans like us. You can be mad at Clay Bennett all you want to be. I mean, he stole the team, right? Like, you're mad at him, but like, you're mad at Thunder fans for rooting for a team.
Well, we'll see. Hey, this is welcome news because me being a Charlotte fan, they New Orleans, when they put the franchise in New Orleans and then Charlotte got a franchise back, they wouldn't give us a name. For a few years. So,
they had the Charlotte Bobcats, and then they got them back to the Charlotte Hornets.
Yeah, because New Orleans finally gave up the rights to the name and everything, which I think wasn't all right. And in the same situation that Oklahoma City would be in if Seattle's granted a franchise, then hey, if y'all do that from the get, y'all have more respect than what I think of New Orleans for sure.
Now, I do know that the other 2 cities that are mentioned, and one of them has an extreme far outside opportunity, but one actually has a legit argument is Kansas City. Kansas City has had, they had a franchise a very long time ago, and they, obviously they moved and whatnot because it's just how the realm of things go. But Kansas City is mentioned, and another team that's mentioned, and that I'm surprised that they've not got their own franchise yet is Jacksonville. Jacksonville has been mentioned plenty of times and with a lot of sports in general. But we had one of our guests has asked, what do you think about how having a franchise or how a franchise in Kansas City would work?
It'd be a little interesting because right now the Thunder's like Oklahoma City's market. So working previously for the team, I knew how far you could market south in Oklahoma. You could market all the way basically to the border and then another 10 miles past the border in Texas, where we had to stop marketing anything, not contact Academy for some, Thunder discounts or whatever. But going north, you could go pretty darn far north. You could go through Kansas City to market the team. And right now the Thunder, that's who, when the MLB has like an NBA day or whatever, the Thunder go to Kansas City. They go to the Royal Stadium. They do it, they partner with them for things. Their mascots appear together and stuff like that. It's very, very loose deal, but it would be interesting to see how it all work out because, the Kansas City Kings come back here and, all of a sudden the Kings have to find a new nickname or whatever. Maybe they'll take the Jazz because we all know Utah should give that up and give it to New Orleans, but it just seems like a weird deal. I mean, it'd be fascinating to see how many Thunder fans are right now in Kansas City. I know a lot of guys and gals I graduated with from Oklahoma State ended up in Kansas City, and either they're from Oklahoma or they're from Kansas, but they're Thunder fans. So be curious to see what it would do to kind of Thunder fandom overall. Could slim it down a little bit, but then again, the team's done so good so quickly, it may be fine, maybe totally fine.
So I know Oklahoma City, it's obviously it's a very hot commodity for the Women's College World Series. This year blew the numbers out of the water. It's the largest attendance ever at 120,000. The viewing numbers for the entire event are equivalent to 40 million, according to ESPN. Do you think that like Devon Park should add more seats, knowing that the popularity of college softball is now going to get even bigger because, we do have the professional softball league starting. But do you think Devon Park, and I know that I think it's like 13,000 seats, could they expand to like 17 or 18,000?
They could. I mean, they're hosting the Olympics as well in 2028. Here in Oklahoma City, we have the rowing and the softball for the Olympics going on. And so I think they could. I mean, they have increased capacity. They increased capacity through 4 different phases starting in 2002. And then lately, their last one to expand the stadium by more than 4,000 seats was in 2020 during COVID. And so that's when it got to be the biggest. And so the capacity was expanded. And then, of course, there are a couple of years building up in that capacity, coming back from COVID a little bit in attendance, but then also just having enough fans of softball fill up the the stadium, where now all of a sudden, like last year wasn't wasn't beating out by this much. It seems like it's a new year every single year where it's set up to be a higher number, where once they've hit max capacity now, but last year they didn't. So do we wait another year or two just to do it one more time? Because every single time it is like the city's funding and it is voting on something else. So I believe more of it is supposed to be added on, but it's not like basically the NCAA owns the stadium or College World Championships own the stadium, where they can just decide tomorrow, hey, we need to do renovations like you can at MLB stadiums that own their park or something, and they just decide, hey, we're going to do it now. It's like this is publicly owned, so it would just take a little bit longer to do than it probably should.
Shane, go ahead.
Well, I know, as you said that, you get a broad kind of Oklahoma kind of deal, and I know you're a old poke, from down there in Stillwater. So, but I really want to know this, not kind of being the outside looking in, and you being a true fan and follower of Oklahoma sports. Who really has the hottest seat this year as a head coach? Is it Gundy or is it Venables?
Man, it's a great question. My podcast at the CGA tour, it's all Oklahoma State sports. And that's what I talk about frequently. It's like, man, how hot is Gundy's seat? He was almost fired this past season from the Board of Regents. It was close enough that it went all the way down to the Board of Regents having a formal vote and was 5-4 to keep Gundy.
Oh, wow.
So he was just that close to being just done, paying out a huge buyout. He comes back.
I'm a man, I'm 40. That was my favorite quote by him.
I mean,
I'm a man.
Repping his player, trying to say, like, why are we writing about a kid being fed Campbell's soup while he's changing clothes by his mom in the locker room? Like, what, what story was that? But yeah, it's long been gone here. I just, I'm a huge fan of Gundy so far. He's done some off the field stuff that makes me really question just kind of some mental capacity stuff here. Just kind of like, even if those are your beliefs, you know how that's going to come across. What are we doing? And stuff. So I've been curious on that for sure. But I think it's honestly going to be Venables, just because if this doesn't work out for Gundy, it'd have to be real bad. Like, there's really low expectations to start with. This is, depending on where you look and which website, Oklahoma State's not supposed to finish in the top 10 in the conference. So if they don't finish the top 10 in the conference, it's like, all right, well, they've got 2 guys at quarterback right now. And, they've got 4 guys on the team at quarterback, but 2 guys are potential starters. Neither of them throwing a pass in a college football game. So really, there's low expectations. Whereas down south in Norman, there's some high expectations. There's a brand new offensive coordinator who comes over with a brand new quarterback, came from Washington State, John Mateer. This is Brent Venables. He's going to be the defensive guy. So now they've got an offensive coordinator, and they've got Venables there to just really take control of the defense. And I mean, if it doesn't work out this year, what's OU pointing to? That'd be kind of my thing. They seem like they built themselves up to a certain type of standard, and they've got an incredibly tough schedule. They've got Michigan in their non-conference game this year, whereas Oklahoma State's got Oregon. I don't think either team's going to win that matchup, but Oklahoma State versus Oregon is like, hey, if we pull off some fluke, awesome.
Pull that out of your
we're hoping to
hat
get
right
to 6
there.
wins this year, right? Like we're going bowl game or bust. We're hoping to get 6 wins. If OU lose to Michigan, it's like, man, don't you guys also have to play Georgia and Texas and like 7 others? I mean,
Remember, Venable was he was with Oklahoma at one time, and then he goes to Clemson. He did absolutely phenomenal things for Clemson. So the question that you have to really, the question I would like to, in your opinion, who gets the pink slip first? Is it like let's just say hypothetical for bleeps and giggles. Okay. Both of them say Oklahoma State goes 3-10. Okay. God, I hope not. Then let's just say Oklahoma goes 3-9. Who gets the pink slip first?
I think Venables is fired like during the season.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I think honestly, like there's enough. Here's the other thing.
There's enough power in Gundy's mullet to keep him there through the season.
Well, yeah, but like if Oklahoma State like loses the first game against UT Martin, well, there's a ton of questions. But let's say they win that one and they win against Tulsa and they lose to Oregon. That's 2 wins right there. But then, okay, when's their next win? How does it look? There's all these kind of conversations I'm having in my head, just being speculating. We won 3 games last year. This was not a great. Last year was horrible. It was about as bad as it can get because it came off of Big 12 championship, preseason kind of hype, top 3 in the conference, possibly college football berth.
I know you're
pain.
I know you're pain because Virginia Tech went through the same thing last year, and we were lucky to make a bowl game.
Yeah, and we lost 9 straight games. We lost every single game in conference last year. So if you're telling me like Gundy's 2-10, yeah, that would suck. But like we have 2 freshman quarterbacks. Last year we had a 7th-year quarterback, and it was that bad. So the expectations are just they're not high at all. And then I think, but to answer your question too, if Gundy's 2-10, he's gone. If Brett Venables is 3-9, he's also gone. I just think Venables is gone during the season because man, they have a tough schedule to end out the season where I think he maybe get 3 wins earlier on, and all of a sudden it's like, I don't think he wins again. He's dropped some he should have won. He's gone. OU football has a ton of money to throw at a guy if they really want to. And last year they almost did. Oklahoma State almost did as well. But yeah, that buyout's a little bit easier to eat if you're the non-state school.
So last question by our audience member in general, who is your Big 12 sleeper this year?
Oh man. I hate saying it because I think they're going to be, I hope they're kind of our rival just because their head coach has been there forever too. But I think it's Utah. They've got Devin Dampierre. He's supposedly just an absolute athlete at quarterback. And if Utah has a running quarterback and they play great defense and they keep running the ball real well, they're going to be pretty darn good. That's kind of my Big 12 sleeper there for sure. I just, I think the Big 12 also is just too, like, I wouldn't classify Kansas State or Iowa State as a sleeper. Arizona State's probably the preseason kind of top dog, but they're not preseason ranked. So there's like 5 or 6 teams that I could see easily winning the conference. So I kind of got to go, 7th or beyond. So that's where I go Utah. Just kind of leaning there a little bit. But yeah, I think there's 5 or 6 different teams that can win the Big 12 this year. It's going to be fascinating to watch.
Wow. Calvin, man, I appreciate you coming on, brother. I know we were right at time. Can you let everybody know where they can find you?
Yeah, follow me at the CGA Tour. It's just my initials instead of PGA. I thought, hey, we'll change one letter. It'll be cool. So it's the Calvin Glenn Alexander Tour, the CGA Tour, talking all things Oklahoma State. And having some players appear on the podcast here shortly. I've got 489 subscribers as of this minute. So if you can help me get to 500, that'd be awesome. Hopefully.
Hey, we will do our best. Come check our guy Calvin out. Calvin, man, I appreciate you coming on. Go watch the Thunder, and let's see if the Thunder can start turning those doubters around, and saying, hey, we are legit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, let's officially put the seal on it. Let's put the stamp of approval. This is a great team. It's
Absolutely.
So,
Calvin, we will talk again soon, man. Enjoy your evening. Thank you again, and you guys have a hopefully. I hope that I'm telling you, I still believe it's OKC in 5, but I'll be okay with it in 6 too.
A win's a win. I'll take it in 7. I just might lose a couple more hairs from my head. That's all. So we'll see.
Hey, it gets worse.
That's true. Calvin, take care, buddy.
All right, thanks.
Appreciate it.
Guys, what a good interview with him. So he was really good that we had him on. And so, obviously we want to talk some more about the game of life, sports, whatever. But I want to start this off with you, Shane, and this is really exciting. I'm a diehard hockey guy. I live hockey. I'm obviously a huge Tampa Bay Lightning fan. But guys, it's official. Pro hockey is coming to Albuquerque, New Mexico. Hockey is growing, and it's growing at a rapid pace. The ECHL is adding 2 new teams, but more specifically, one team is going to Albuquerque, New Mexico, and the other one is, like I said, it's kind of a stone's throw away from Shane. It is Greensboro Gargoyles, the ECHL affiliate of your Carolina Hurricanes. Shane, what does this say to you, though, knowing that we are seeing another ECHL franchise coming out, and I know the idea behind having more localized teams is kind of like, so you don't have to, for instance, you have the Greenville the Greenville Swamp Rabbit. They're the ECHL of the LA Kings, which, I mean, if you have an up and coming star, he plays in Greenville, he's getting the call. He's completely bypassed in the AHL. He's going to the NHL. He has to get his backside all the way over to LA as fast as human, or heck, what if they're playing in Edmonton? What does this mean to you, though, Shane, for the expansion wise? We know Atlanta, we know Houston are almost certainly going to get franchises. What does this mean to you?
Well, the way I see it is, I want to kind of shout out. We covered it before, especially I think the second to last episode going into from the third season. We covered, and what does it say about the hotter climate cities and the NHL and how it's been doing? And it's been doing great, as we mentioned. Florida has been in the past 7 Stanley Cup Finals. I'm sorry.
Well, so this year it makes it 6. This is the 6th year consecutively.
Yep. Okay.
The state of Florida's in the Stanley Cup, but up until this year would have been 7 straight years. The entire state has been in the ECHL Kelly Cup and the Stanley Cup.
Yep. But and so in that same sense, man, I'm glad to see it. We see the fandom kind of come up, and we, like I said, we've talked about it before. But another thing I want to shout out is the Greensboro Gargoyles. The way that they managed their team name and everything once it was announced that the ECHL team was coming there, the town, everybody rallied around it. They picked out the names, the colors. There was a big TikTok kind of deal, and it's kind of like one of those things. If I'm not mistaken, it was some big podcast guys or some on YouTube ended up buying it and buying the franchise, and then now here we are 8 months later, and they kind of took about it the right way, and so as we mentioned, the NHL's possible expansion. I do see, from the AHL and the ECHL that we're going to see more of the prevalent mainstay kind of stronger teams like starting to get those bids. I think like Salt Lake City and I think the one other that we're going to get here in the next couple of years as kind of a startup. We're going to see those as kind of the last startups. Like, I think it's going to be where they're going to take the semi-pro lower markets and excel them into the NHL, like we've talked about with the MLB. The next expansion franchise that we see in MLB are more than likely going to come from mainstays in the semi-pro or the
MILB.
MLIB. Yeah.
Yes, the minor league system.
Yeah. So I think that we're going to see that kind of feed in and be a true minor league system now, more so than a separate league and a feeder, if everybody can follow.
I like your thinking on that one. It hasn't been announced yet. It's supposed to be announced at any time. Who the Albuquerque, New Mexico team is going to be the ECHL affiliate with. My suspicions it could be with Vegas. That's just my thought, just because of locations and everything. And look,
Or it could be with the new Utah team. Who knows?
absolutely it could be. I mean, it very well could be. I mean, Utah.
I mean, if you're thinking regionally, those two teams would be close for sure. And so I would see something in that, and that's why they might be adding this team out there.
So I do know it was actually announced today that San Antonio has put their name for they want to vote and possibly be considered for an NHL franchise. But for those who don't know, what Shane and I were alluding to, starting with the hockey conversations, is Jacksonville Icemen. They have them and the Florida Everblades. They have been a fixture in the ECHL Kelly Cup playoffs for gosh knows how long. It's so enriched in hockey in the state of Florida in general that it's exciting. But we very well could see what Shane just said. We could see Jacksonville get boosted up to the NHL level. So stay tuned for that one, and we can't wait to see what happens. But we will have the general manager of the Albuquerque, New Mexico franchise. He is actually slated. His name is Jared Johnson. He is the general manager of them. He will be coming on our show on June the 27th. So yes, we did get him penciled in. It's going to be really exciting to have him on, and I can't wait to talk with him about hockey. Like I said, I'm a diehard hockey guy. I've always been a diehard person with hockey. 1 second. So yeah, we're excited about that one. All right, so I want to ask this to you, Shane, and and also people are watching. Look, obviously, I know our viewership dropped after Calvin left, and it's understandable. It is a Wednesday. It's not normal for us at this time to come on. Okay, it's not normal. It's okay. We're here to entertain you guys. What is the loudest sports arena that you've ever been to? Professional, basketball, baseball, hockey, football. Like, which one is the loudest? I want to know the audience's thoughts behind, like, which one is for them. But I'm going to start with mine, honestly, and the reason why I'm talking about this in a minute, I'll tell, is because of the guests we had. OKC has been voted as the loudest arena in the NBA. That is according to NBA.com. So that one's pretty well known on that one. But mine was, I would have to say, it would be Truist Park. Back then it was called SunTrust Park, but now it's called Truist Park when the Atlanta Braves play. And I remember one year I went when they were still playing at Turner Field, and it was a playoff game, and all you see are those foam tomahawks chopping. It's loud. It is loud as possible. And I remember that before they came on the TV, they said, all right, everybody, make sure you get those tomahawk chops going and be as loud as possible. We want everybody to know Atlanta represents. And that was the year we ended up losing to the Florida Marlins in the postseason. That was the year the Marlins won the World Series. That's the one I've
Dontrell Willis.
Yeah, the D train. Yep, I remember it so well. John said been to was the Cincinnati Cyclones of the ECHL, but the loudest would be Arrowhead. Yeah, 142.2 decibels. I have heard that is exceptionally loud. What about you, Shane?
Well, I can tell you, as far as my personal that I've been to, and I'm going to be biased because playoff atmosphere is completely different than regular season atmosphere. But as far as the regular season kind of deal that I've been to is what is it? First Citizens Park. They're in Philly. They just get another gear. We all hear about the Fanatics, but with me not being too many professional stadiums and all, I did kind of the same thing with the announcers. Like I went ahead and grouped some that I know are loud and that I can appreciate. And so, like with the NBA, Dallas during the playoffs.
Yeah, Mavericks fans. They're
Yeah,
different.
man, it started back with Dirk and everything. Back, what was that? 05, 06. Those playoff matchups that they had where they just set the shelf apart, and they've done it every year since when they've been in the playoffs. But Golden State is another one in the NBA that can be one of the loudest there in the Oracle. NFL. We've got to mention Kansas City and
Oh
Seattle.
gosh, yeah.
And
Yeah,
of
beast
course,
mode. Remember the beast quake?
yeah, but of course, those are documented as a lot of stadiums. Oracle Park for Buffalo in the playoffs is one of the loudest kind
They are some of the
of
most like true
smaller
fans too.
kind of settings that I've seen. But I know you're not going to hear it. I know you're not going to want to hear it, but you're going to hear it. The loudest stadium, I think, overall is going to be down there at Superdome.
Oh boy, yeah.
For the
Saints fans, they
NFL.
are different. They are a different breed. They absolutely are. And I'm going to agree with you on that too. I mean, I've been to New Orleans when the Falcons played the Saints. And I was there the game. It was the block heard around the world. Michael Cannon got his punt blocked. I can remember it so vividly. My ears they were ringing for 3 days. It was loud. Those fans, when they stand behind their team, they truly do stand behind their team. They're phenomenal fans. And look, yes, they're my rival. I absolutely can tell you they're my rival. I'm an Atlanta Falcons fan, thick and through. But man, there's something different about New Orleans fans. They really do. And John, you're right. Yes, Buffalo fans. They are. There was a guy who posted a video, and I swear, I promise you, I'm not making this up. The dude looks like my brother. I mean, I actually thought it was Brian, and I had to do a double check. I even told him, I was like, "Dude, you look like my brother. I really thought you were my brother." He said, "Who has the best fans?" And I said, "It has to be Bills Mafia. The Bills Mafia is just something. I mean, how many other teams can you sit there and say?" Yeah, my fan base goes and dives on tables and bust tables. I mean, I don't know many.
Bills Mafia, and then you got the Black Hole. Like those are kind of, and of course, if Cleveland was relevant, you would have the Dog Pound.
Yep.
But those are your three kind of crowd sections that you hear about in the NFL. Just like I mentioned Philly.
There's fans that go shirtless. That's crazy.
It's a fanatic, the Philly Fanatics.
Yes,
it's not only
Phillies,
the mascot; that's who they are as a town too.
Yeah, and look, I've made this argument many times. They shouldn't call themselves the city of brotherly love. They will love their team thick and through, but the moment, and it is so true, the moment they start laying eggs, they quickly turn. I mean, it was only a couple of years ago. Trey Turner signed this massive deal with them. They go to the NLCS and they get blown out 2 games in a row by the Arizona Diamondbacks. Everybody said, "Sell the team, get rid of them." Blah blah blah. Blah, blah. It was, oh my god, it was pure mutiny is what happens with them. It absolutely is true. All right, so this next question is kind of for everybody too. It's a really intriguing question. What is your most memorable moment with like your dad, your grandpa, mom, sister, whomever, like during the summertime? Mine, Dad, he did take us to a couple of ballparks, but it was nothing like to, write home to your mom about kind of stuff. But Jessica, shout out to my sister, Jessica. She took me to my first Braves game in the late 80s, going into 90. First off, she introduced me to baseball. She put me in front of TBS and said, "Here, watch this. You're going to like them." It was the year they went from worst to first. We went to Fulton County Stadium, and I was hooked instantly. I've been a Braves fan as long as I can remember. My daughters are Braves fans, but that was one of my most enjoyable moments in the summertime is going to a ballpark. My mom would take us, and it was fun. My sister, though, my sister and I, she's 7 years older than me. And she is a phenomenal mother to my nephew Jackson. Shout out to Jackson. He's a great kid. I love him to death. And we're actually going to get a chance possibly to see them because they're coming to Atlanta to do the group World Cup and stuff, or Club World Cup. But that's one of my most memorable. What about you, Shane? What is one of your most memorable summertime moments with a loved one?
Well, so I have a lot of memorable moments, especially with my dad. Being able to kind of two peas in a pod growing up, was always in his pocket, as they would say. But man, as far as sporting events go, man, my favorite memory during the summer was short track Friday and Saturday nights. Where I grew up in Virginia, we were, only 10 minutes away from the racetrack. So I went there first time at 6 weeks old, and I can remember at 3 years old on the concrete bleachers, sitting there using my seat as a racetrack to race my own cars around there.
Oh my God.
That's
a great memory.
So I can remember that, but a good summertime memory, especially with my dad, was whenever I guess it would be summertime, but mainly childhood memory was where we lived in Virginia. It was so far off the beaten path that we had to take our trash out, and it was about a 3 mile dirt road, gravel road that we had to go down. And we would take the living room sofa cushions and would put them, behind me. And I was 7, 8 years old. I'd drive down the dirt road, take the trash off. He'd shift the gears for me in a little old 88 S10 pickup kind of deal. So, I enjoyed that part of it. It was fun, creating those memories and all. And so, but as far as the sports goes, that short track racing, that's what I remember when I was younger. And I mean, when I was 5, that's what I did for my 5th birthday. Was no friends, just me, my dad, my mom, and a couple of their friends. We went camping out at Bristol and went to the night race because it's right there close to my birthday. So as a young race fan and everything, doing that with my dad and all that, and being able to be afforded the opportunity to do it with them was great, and I'll always keep that close to my heart.
Absolutely. And one of this is my all-time favorite. My grandpa meant the world to me. I have him tattooed on me. I still think he is the greatest man that's ever walked the face of the earth. His name was Walter Nelson Jr., Mobile, Alabama. We would go down there every summer. And I remember Papa would take us to so there is this ballpark. So when you went down this ridiculously long driveway, and you take a left and you walk 45 steps, and you take a right, and there is this ballpark. It's still there to this day. It was built in the early 40s, okay, and it's still used. And I mean, I asked Uncle Eric and them if it was still being used. It's still used. And I can remember Papa would take us to see little league games or semi-pro baseball, whatever, something. And we would go there and just get the experience. Baseball with him is unlike anything I'd ever gotten to experience. I had so much fun with it. I had a blast. Shane, you have something about your grandpa. Go ahead.
Oh yeah. Well, my granddad, man, as you said, you got to go down and spend some time with him during the summer. So I never got to meet my dad's parents. So my grandma and grandpa on my dad's side, which was Ma and Pa, is what they were called. I never got to meet them. So I spent my week during the summer with my dad's family, with my Aunt Jean, who was just like Ma. But we would always do a week down with my granddad and my grandma on my mom's side in Charleston or wherever his parsonage was at the time. And he was a minister, shoe cobbler, kind of jack of all trades, deal. But he as a minister got me into the habit of golf. Back I believe I was about 6 years old. We went down there and he cut off one of his old pitching wedges. Well, no, actually, I believe it was 7-iron, and he cut it off and put some electrical tape around it, right-handed, and I learned how to hit a golf ball right-handed, and then ended up my sister peeked her head out a little bit too much and got caught with it just over her eye. So we had to pause for a second because of that and some stitches. But eventually, he gave me my love for golf, and I remember especially going down doing sunrise services with him on Easter weekends, normally during the Masters weekend and all. Being down there is great, but I went playing baseball and ended up trying it left-handed. But I can tell you guys, if you just go back to your roots, you'll be much better, because obviously I went back to swinging the golf club right-handed, and it's been a whole lot better off for me.
I'm a left-handed person, but I swing right-handed with golf clubs. I tried it left-handed once. I'm like, this ain't no way I can do this. So like John said, my grandfather, who got me into sports, we go walk on the bridge over the local lake where he lived, and we just talk about life in sports. He passed away 6 years ago, and he misses him. Amen.
My granddad about 7 years ago. So I'm with you, bud.
And then Brian, going to my first NASCAR race at Talladega to watch Dale Earnhardt Sr. win. And the other was when I met Harry Grant in person at a restaurant. And then John came with another one and said, I got to go to my first ever baseball game in Cincinnati with that grandfather. Never will forget, despite the Kansas City Royals getting clobbered 7-2. So the game that Jessica took me to, we ended up winning. The Braves won 3-2, and I don't even remember who the heck they played, but I can remember Jessica got me my first Braves ball cap. I don't even know if I still have. Mom might still have it. I have to ask her. I have so much sports memorabilia, it's ridiculous. Shane knows, he can attest that he's seen. I have a mound of like sports memorabilia, but that
I think it. I think
it's just something about it, and yeah. Oh, just amazing.
Oh yeah, well, and that's and I can tell you, I've got plenty other kind of good memories and stuff like that. Which I mean, we could go on for days.
Absolutely.
Like my first Clemson game, my granddad took me to. It was me, my granddad, my uncle, and my cousin Grayson, who. Me and Brandon talked about him a bunch, great time. But he took me to his first Clemson game. It was, I think, maybe the first time I can remember ordering on my own at the Waffle House.
See, man, that was Waffle. Look, for those who don't know what Waffle House, first off, if you don't know what a Waffle House is, you are living under a brick.
At 2 o'clock in the morning, it's the apple waffle.
Gathered, smothered, covered in chunk. That's the way to do it.
It's the apple waffle.
That's right.
It's not
Trey, Trey said, I taught myself how to hit left-handed. I'm right-handed, and I bowl a strike left-handed. You could say I'm pretty amphibious. Okay.
Yeah,
I like
yeah, amphibious. That's what I say. I'm amphibious because back when I played baseball, I
thought it was ambidextrous.
It is, but that's a running joke between us ambidextrous people. Is we call ourselves amphibious because not many people are ambidextrous.
Yeah, no, I can, like I said. So look, I'm left-handed, and so I shoot my free throws. I don't use the right. It's hard to throw right-handed, that kind of stuff. But I bat right-handed. I golf right-handed. It's just something about it. Look, everybody's over here laughing at that comment too. Hey guys, there is a really cool story that's coming out of Charlotte, North Carolina, and I'm really excited about this. For those who don't remember, a couple seasons ago, Matt and I had the owner, Greg, for the Carolina Disco Turkeys on our show. They are a summer collegiate baseball program that is based out of Winston-Salem. Well, Charlotte is getting their own summer collegiate baseball team, which will start in the year 2026. They are called the Queen City Green Sox. It's actually really cool. Like the logo, I'm going to pull the picture up for you. I forgot to completely upload it on. But if you look at what I'm going to, yes, that is true. They're called the Carolina Disco Turkeys, John. They really are really cool. I want you to check them out. I will share with you their information. Greg is actually a really cool guy. All right, so here's the picture. I'm going to get it in the screen. If you look at it real quick, it looks like it's a pickle, but it's a Green Sox. They're called the Charlotte Green Sox or the Queen City Green Sox. And we are working to try
looks like an Irish. It looks like an Irish sock.
It's
with the red beard and all. You can see it.
Yeah, it's true. You definitely can see it. So we are they're going to be part of the Queen City Collegiate Baseball League. It will be the first summer collegiate wood bat team, the Charlotte Green Sox. So Shane is going to work diligently to try and get them on. John just said a diseased pickle, maybe, but we're going to try to get them on because, we give everybody the opportunity to have their voice be heard. So we're definitely going to get them on. I can't wait to talk with them about that one. And then, guys, quickly want to shout out Nick Chubb. For those who don't remember,
go ahead. Hold on before we go any further. We're talking about the Charlotte Green, the Green Sox. And it's great that we have this bat league, but I've recently reached out to another collegiate league that here in North Carolina, right down the road. It's called the Hendersonville Honeycrisps. If you know anything about the mountains of North Carolina,
that's Appleville.
It's Apple Country. Jeter Mountain.
Yes, that's our jam. That is. Oh, I cannot wait till they open up.
Well, that's right there in Flat Rock, Hendersonville. So that's why they're called Honeycrisp. They're a member of the what is it? Let's see, the Old North State League is what it's called, and it's a collegiate kind of summer league for teams. It's not a wood bat league or anything, but they have 24 teams across 4 divisions across the whole state. Of 23 teams are in the state of North Carolina, and 1 team is in Virginia. The Danville is the only team in Virginia, but we hear about the Cape Cod League and stuff like that, and the prospects that come through there. But this is kind of tie back into another segment that me and Brandon talked about a Wednesday ago. It's kind of these smaller leagues that pop up, and I didn't know it till we started talking about this and started trying to get people to come on. And I'm planning on going to a couple of Honeycrisp games myself and talking to them. Hopefully we get some good interaction, get some good feedback and stuff like that. We can kind of get some insight on these kind of leagues. But that's one of the reasons why we're doing the segment, the other side of Saturdays.
Yep.
Kind of highlight the lower level programs that do great things. Anything like that you guys have happening locally.
I hear the ice cream truck. I don't know if you guys hear it. The ice cream truck is in our neighborhood. Hold on.
But I can tell you that if you guys have a local team or anything like that we're talking about, these smaller kind of startup programs and all, let us know, because we'd be glad to reach out. And hey, the more exposure that they get out there, the more exposure that we get out there, the more content can bring you guys. And so that's what I look forward to. And I just wanted to kind of point that out. Being the baseball guy, we always hear in the summer that the Cape League and stuff like that. But man, there's all kinds of leagues out here, and because we're doing this, I found out about one that's been going strong for years and has 24 teams already.
Yeah. All right, John. This is what their logo is. That's the Carolina Disco Turkeys. It is a legit summer league.
I need a hat. I need a hat.
So you can follow them. They're on Twitter. They have their own page. Everything is discoturkeys.com is the Carolina Disco Turkeys Independent Summer Baseball League. They are a woodbat league. But yes, Greg is a really good friend of ours. We talk with them regularly. John said, I got to go to the Wichita Wranglers game once. Best sports experience I've ever had. That's where it's at, like little plates, that's where it makes the difference.
Well, back when I was a freshman in school, me and my dad went one Thursday night to a woodbat league in Florence, South Carolina. They were the Florence, I think Swamp Foxes maybe, or something like that. But now they're the Florence Flamingos, and it was a woodbat league. I was a guy that I used to catch kind of on the side, kind of helping me out. Played professional with the Mets, made it all the way up Binghamton, and what's the AAA? The Cyclones.
Yeah, Cyclones. It's funny you said that, Brian. We actually we are media credentialed for the Hub City Spartanburgers. They are the single high A affiliate of the Texas Rangers. So we actually are media credentialed for them. I go to a couple of their games. I think the next one I go to is actually in a couple of weeks. I'm slated to go to. So yeah, we are credentialed for them. So it's funny you mentioned that. All right, so I got to mention this. This is actually really exciting and also kind of scary at the same point. Nick Chubb, he has signed a 1-year deal with the Houston Texans. For those who don't remember, he had an absolutely horrific knee injury happen. He hasn't played in about 2 years. Could this help the Texas Rangers, or could this? I just said the Texas Rangers. Could this help the Houston Texans, or could this hurt the Houston Texans? You let me know in the comments. I want to hear what you guys think. Hank just made a comment. Heavy rain all this evening. Remember, he's in Memphis, Tennessee, so it's it does come in down like cats and dogs up there. What do you think, Shane? Will this help or hurt?
Well, I think this will help because we've seen Houston's kind of steadiness on the receiving game and what they pick up and kind of drop off and do all that. But I think Chubb still has something in the tank, and with him being off the couple of years, I'm gonna relate it back to me as a Carolina fan. Looking at we signed Renfroe, and our receiving room with Renfroe and Thielen and Horn Jr. With Leggett and McMillan. I mentioned this to you guys off the air before. Like it's like that receiving room could be sneakily good. If that's even the way to put it, but they will, they can make some moves, and like a lot of people have said, we see Bama Young again, instead of the current Bryce Young that we've seen a couple times, a couple years here lately.
And I gotta sit here and say something. Shout out, by the way, to the ice cream truck.
I heard it that time.
Yeah, that time. So they park out in front of our house. My wife is the HOA president, and so we were able to get in touch.
Oh no!
Yes,
no,
she
no.
is. She's not one of them. She's not a Karen.
I know, but don't advertise that. That's just bad advertisement. Period.
But we were able to get them to come out, and they come regularly. And there's I'm looking. There's like 15 kids that just walked from up here. So my neighborhood is so weird, y'all. There's my neighborhood is
Hey,
split by 2 counties.
here's mine. I need one. Okay.
I need ice cream.
Yeah. Give me I'll take a crunch pop, please.
A crunch pop. So she actually has some really good stuff. But yeah, I was I had to get a shout out to the ice cream truck. But guys, this Wednesday series that we're about to do, it's going to be like out of this league fun. It's going to be so much fun. We just inked another individual. Send them my way. Just inked an individual to come on and cover for the San Francisco 49ers. That puts us at 7 teams left to cover for our training days with the Sportz Nutz. If you are a fan of football, we're down to have you on.
Give them the names real quick.
Yeah, let me put the names for you guys.
This is what's needed. If you're a fan of a team in this division and know what's going on in your division, let us know as well. Because other than the NFC South, we're kind of regionally biased. But other than that, we kind of don't get out much of seeing what else is on other than kind of the big names and what we talk about normally. So we want that great insight. So if you're a fan of a team in that division and are looking at other teams, we'll let you do multiple teams. Yeah.
We want to hear from you.
But because your opinion is going to be better than ours because we can't pay attention to it as much as we want to.
Absolutely.
for real.
Here's the teams that we need that are left. There's only 7 teams left. They are the Washington Commanders, the Cleveland Browns, the Los Angeles Rams, the Denver Broncos, the Buffalo Bills, the New England Patriots, and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, look, I have friends who, if you don't know who these 2 are, I'm going to give you their names, and I'm legit. I have their phone numbers, everything. Mr. TJ Watt and Braden Fajoko, both of them are defensive linemen for the Pittsburgh Steelers. They are friends of us, but obviously they can't come on because they're going to be in camp. But
I've tried. My cousins are real big fans, and they're just too shy.
Look, and don't be scared of us.
Which I was too shy before, so I can't blame them. I mean, but we are related.
But look, we don't bite. We're not. We're. This is what you're gonna do. You have 4 questions. I'm so broke I can't even pay attention. Hank, come on now. But
I've heard that my whole life because my last name's Owen, so I've been owing money people all my life.
Look, guys, you come on, Shane. Tell them what the 4 questions are.
So the 4 questions are kind of what are your thoughts on the OTAs and mini camps, kind of since they've been completed. What's your thoughts on training camps? What's your kind of expectations of the season? And then what are your predictions of the season? As I was talking to a guy that's going to come on with us today, he's like, man, I can tell you, I've got a couple different predictions. I was like, well, let us know what your different predictions are, because we've all seen it go both ways in the league. So yeah, just we want to know what you guys think, and that's really one of the biggest reasons why we're kind of putting it out there, and want people to kind of fill in with us, because hey, we know we're not right, because we do have the bias of the NFC South. Oh yeah, well, yeah. That's the logo. So I mean, and like I said, it's other people's opinions on a sport that we love, and many people follow it, and I think if we do it right, which I think is lining up to be that way, then I think it'll be top notch.
That's right. And look, guys, you get 5 to 15-minute interviews. That's what it is. Come on, 5 to 15 minutes. You answer those 4 questions. You get a chance to interact And you're not only are you getting the chance to help, you're going to hear the trucks come by our house again, but we spread the word. Oh, it's a school bus.
Oh
You
yeah,
spread the
yeah.
word out.
If you cover a team on your personal YouTube channel or TikTok page or something like that, like do that, and we'll link it in with our
Yes.
show.
We have a way to do that. We can add up to 2 per individual that comes on, two destinations at a time per individual to broadcast. Hey, I came on the Sportz Nutz. Look, we're a pretty popular name. We're over 1,360 subscribers and growing.
I wouldn't say pretty, but we're getting there.
Yes. Now, and our name is known because of especially us too. Well, Shane asked a very viral question with at the time the athletic director of University of Hawaii, Craig Angeles, and it garnished over 8.5 million views. So we are known. So come on and have some fun with us. Talk sports with us, guys. We do have sponsorship packages. We are out there. If you're interested, if you want to hear about them, message me or message Shane, message Matt or Hank. We will give you the details. We have them all lined up for you. We welcome any and all who are interested in being a sponsor of us. You get great perks. I'm not going to go over because it's too much to go over. And we are coming on time. Remember, guys, we air every day, Monday through Saturday on tigernation.live or 95.5 KFCE based in Terrell, Texas. However, TigerNation.live is the entire state of Texas, Oklahoma, and Missouri. We are close to getting
tell them the possibility of the great news.
We will most likely. Right now, it's slated for 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Central Standard Time, but we were most likely going to be going live at the exact same time we are here. Eastern Time is 7:30, but it'll be 6:30 to 8 Central, 7:30 to 9 our time. It will be live. We will be on the radio. But then also, we are pretty close to getting something with the state of California. We're trying to ink something with San Francisco and with Seattle. So if you have any insights as well, we greatly appreciate them. So, guys, for our good friend Calvin Alexander, who joined us to talk some OKC sports and everything, for our good friend Hank, who obviously he couldn't be here tonight because of the weather and stuff, but it's okay, Hank. We still love you, brother. He always tells you thank you guys from the bottom of our hearts coming on our show. It really means a lot to us and being a guest. Matt, as he always tells you, don't get flagged in the game of life. Don't do something stupid. Don't drink. Don't drive. If you're gonna drink, call an Uber. Do something like that. There are so many ride shares out there. Brian, appreciate you for saying that, man. We had so much fun. We will be back this Friday. Shane, would you please tell everybody the fantastic guest that's coming on this Friday?
Oh well, I mean, I was gonna say, don't be the uppity person. be one to share your blessings with other people, and come this Friday, we are blessed to have the only head coach of a undefeated baseball team
College
in the college ranks of any level on our show. Mr. Brad Neffendorf is going to be on from the Louisiana State University Shreveport Pilots.
Pilots, yep.
So as Brandon always says, hey, buckle in, everybody, because we are about to take off, and these pilots are going to take us on a ride that is monumental for both the Sportz Nutz and the sports world in general.
And he will, and I've already confirmed this, folks. Brad is going to show us that gorgeous trophy. We're going to get to see the national championship trophy. He has already said it's going to be on. So be ready for that one.
Oh man, I'm ready for it, and hey, I'm just blessed to be on here, and may the good Lord bless everybody. As always, peace, love, and bacon grease.
Peace, love, and bacon grease, indeed. As I always tell you, peace up. A-Town down why it's the greatest sports city there ever was. Hey, shout out, by the way, real quick, to the Atlanta Braves. They finally won their first series since mid-May. Let's hope things turn around and Atlanta does start doing good things. So
they need a dose.
Yes, absolutely, they do. Couple beers, Doc. Yep. I need a couple beers. That was a great one. If you don't know what that is, message Shane. He'll tell you more about it. Guys, you'll have a wonderful evening. Thank you for all those who tuned in. We really do appreciate it. Have a wonderful evening. I know we keep saying we're going to have the new outro video. It will be coming. We should have it up by Friday.
Just wait. Just wait.
Gonna be awesome.
We're teasing. We're teasing.
Yeah. It's going to be awesome. And as Brian said, go Cubs. So, all right. Take care, guys, and have a good night.